What's it?
This video is going to act as both the Storytime video and a status update, since I was basically absent last month except for ArtisIan music. But that last part will come at the end of the video, so in the meantime, I encourage you to stay tuned as I talk about why I love animation and how I got started on animating. So as long as I can remember, I've loved cartoons. I started by watching laserdiscs, videotapes, and DVDs my parents had of movies like The Lion King, which is still my favorite, Hercules, Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, Tarzan, The Emperor's New Groove, the list goes on. Animated TV shows were my life too. I watched Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Sonic X, Fairly OddParents, Danny Phantom, and of course, SpongeBob. I watched my fair share of CG movies and shows as well, but I had an affinity to specifically 2D animation for as long as I can remember. The idea that the same drawings that you put on paper could come to life and move around like they were real characters, that was amazing to me. Which is strange considering until about 1st or 2nd grade, I hated drawing. Go figure. Then I discovered Garfield. That comic was my main inspiration to see the appeal of drawing and make me want to draw my own stuff. To this day, Garfield is still my favorite comic strip, and I owe my entire art career to it. I also read stuff like Calvin and Hobbes, Peanuts, Dennis the Menace, Hagar the Horrible, Beetle Bailey, and later on Foxtrot and Drabble, but Garfield was the one that got me into drawing. My art style has definitely taken a lot of inspiration from the Fat Cat. What does this have to do with animation though? Well, animation is drawing a bunch of pictures over and over again. That is a massive simplification of the medium, but that's why drawing matters in the grand scheme of things. So I got into drawing. The next step was animation, but how would I get into that? I would be introduced to Macromedia Flash MX 2004. The very first piece of animation software I would ever use, and I used it to make slideshow versions of comic books I drew as a kid. But I kept coming back to it, and once I upgraded to Flash 8, I began to teach myself the principles of animation. I would make things like a simple Larry boy bouncing to the left of the screen and make it look like the camera was following him. I would make the Windows logo glow in a loop, because I was obsessed with Windows Vista at the time, and I would try to animate the comic strips I drew back then. Unfortunately, none of those animations survived my computer upgrades, so they're lost to the sands of time. The cartoons that I do have will be covered in another video sometime where I look at my old cartoons, from the earliest one I still have backed up, to my final Sonic Seconds contribution. Anyway, as I self-taught myself animation, I began to analyze the movies and shows I enjoyed to see how they pulled off certain tricks. And that's how I learned how to do smears and balance animating between 2s and 1s. That led me from doing animations like this to doing ones like this. I would evolve with the newer versions of Flash up until when it became Adobe Animate, but also because I switched to a Mac and therefore needed a native version of the program. My work in animation would lead me to discovering Sonic Paradox, which if you've watched my channel, I'm sure you know about already. The group was on the verge of releasing Sonic Shorts Volume 8 when I found the forums, and I prepared to audition with my animations. And, well, I ended up auditioning twice, because holy crap, my first attempt was bad. I'll pull up that audition when I watch my old cartoons, because I'm pretty sure I still have it, but I'll just say right now, it was not worthy of an admission for even low-budget productions. I gave it another shot and became a member of the team for the next 5 or 6 years. That time, however, has passed. I enjoyed the time I had while I was there, and I made several friends while I was there, but I'm now focusing on just myself, my own career. Those efforts can be seen in the Super Meat Boy and Sonic CD videos. However, those two animations, well, it's part of why I made this video. While I'm proud of how they turned out, especially the Meat Boy animation, which was in OpenToonz and prioritized animating by 1s, production on them nearly drove me insane. For the Meat Boy animation, I was using OpenToonz for the first time, and the program itself is fantastic. I understood what I needed to do, and I ended up getting carried away, which is why the majority of the animation is done in 1s. However, exporting. That was the biggest challenge. And why was that? Because it kept crashing. For every great thing I have to say about OpenToonz workflow, it was all negated by the absolutely unpredictable exporting process. I tried about 40 times to export that Super Meat Boy video, and only one of those times was I able to get a finished video. I didn't even go back to fix any errors or improve the artwork because it was that much trouble. I have deadlines, you know. So for the Sonic CD cartoon, I figured I'd go back to Adobe Animate so I can just quickly get it done. Since I was used to Animate's workflow and knew exporting wouldn't be an issue, I figured that was the fastest way to get a cartoon out the door. But nope, Animate decided to screw me over too. And how exactly? That's how. The version of Animate I had downloaded at the time had a huge memory leaking bug that caused it to use up the entire rest of my SSD and completely slow down my computer to the point where it was unusable. I'm not joking. And the first time I saw this error, I wasn't even a quarter of the way through the animation. The rest of the animation process included cutting out jokes, using controlled animation, and working in spurts to make sure my computer didn't have a heart attack every time I worked. And I'm using a stinking M1 MacBook Air, which has been the most powerful computer I've owned. I eventually got the cartoon finished, but I about had it. I intended to release this particular video last month when I was hot off the heels of that cartoon, but I feel that I've mellowed out a bit since then. OpenToonz has since updated to a new version that I hope has fixed the export crashing issues, and I'm positive Adobe Animate has had that memory issue patched out since I made that video. However, because of details I'll get into with my update, I won't be working on animations for a while. Well, that's what happens when both software and hardware fail on you, right? I'm happy with how the cartoons turned out, I really am, but the pain and suffering I went through to make them, not even related to the animation process itself, was not worth it. Now then, a status update. As I'm sure I've alluded to before, I'm currently working on getting my bachelor's degree in university, which leaves me little time to produce videos. I'm spending most of my day working on that degree, and by the time today's done and my work's done, I'm too exhausted to do much, and I have little opportunities to record. I'm sure that any viewers of mine that are also in school can understand what that's like. Animations will be taking a backseat in particular at the time of recording, because I just got my iPad back from being repaired, and I'm still working out a few kinks. I had battery issues with most of my devices since I moved to where I am now, and my iPad was the latest of those casualties. I will try to keep the videos coming, but things need to get shifted around because I was pretty much absent last month. This is going to act as my video for May, and I have a special video planned for next month that I'll be moving forward with. The Toe Jam and Roll video will come out sometime in July. I'm not sure exactly when. I am currently working on the script for that video, but getting time to play and record the game as well as recording the actual dialogue and any other extra bits I might want to add is getting a bit too much. That's part of the reason why the April Fool's video was nothing. It was a very last minute video. I did it the day of, and that's all I had time for. I want to make more quality videos for you guys, I really do. And I have the next 3 years of content planned out, but I just don't have enough time, so I need to be flexible about my plans. Can I ask that you guys be flexible too? Thanks a lot. Oh hey, we're at the end already? That seemed quicker than normal. Well, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, because a majority of my viewers seem to be non-subscribers. Where in the world are you all coming from? And while we're at it, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? 2 mysteries I want solved sometime soon. Anyway, stay tuned next month for another video. Bye!